Hi, welcome to KraftED Watercolor. My name's Craft, and I just want to go over some of the watercolor supplies that I'm going to be using in the video lessons. First, I want to talk about paper. The paper I'm going to be using is considered cold press, and it is important to get paper that is for watercolor when you're doing these kinds of paintings. The watercolor paper will hold more water, and you'll be a lot happier with the results. If you use standard printer paper with watercolors, it tends to fall apart or get really soggy, and it won't hold up as well as paper that is made for watercolor. Next, I'll talk about the paints. I'm going to just be using a very simple classroom style watercolor palette. These usually have 8 colors, and they come with a brush. Look for ones that have a brush that has a nice point to it. Sometimes they come with brushes that are not as friendly. This particular one is made by Color Swell. You can get Prang, Crayola, any of those are fine. They vary a lot in their color intensity between brands, but whatever you have is fine. It just is what you get used to. You'll also want to have a squirt bottle. This helps for wetting larger areas of the paper. Since this comes with such a small brush, it's easier to use a squirt bottle to cover the paper and make the whole thing wet during certain techniques. You also need a cup for water. Any cup will do, but I like to have a designated cup so that I don't accidentally drink out of it. These are non-toxic paints, but still it's just yucky. You also need a pencil with a good eraser and a pencil sharpener to go with that. Paper towels. And that's it for the basic supplies. It's also nice to have an apron or a big t-shirt, so that in case you spill, you won't ruin your clothes. Sometimes it's also nice to have masking tape to tape your paper down. Even though we're using paper that will hold more water, it's helpful sometimes to just tape your paper down to your table, or you can use something like this. This is called Gator Foam, and it's like a thick foam core. You can also use just a thin piece of plywood or a clipboard. That way, if you're working like on your kitchen table and you need to pick up quickly, you can just move that a lot easier than if you've taped your work down to the table and you're waiting for it to dry. It's also nice to have a hairdryer. Make sure you ask for a grown-up's permission to use a hairdryer, kids. An extra brush is also handy if you're flipping between different colors. And if at some point you get to the point where you decide you need a bigger brush, something like this is nice. These are made with golden Teflon fibers. That's a synthetic fiber that's easy to wash out and very inexpensive. And you can get a whole set like this costs, I think, $15, but you can find smaller sets that are very inexpensive for around $5 at big box stores or online. You can order all of these supplies from any art supply store, but they're readily available, like I said, during back to school sales and in most craft sections of big box stores too. So with that is about everything that you're going to be needing to paint along with me in these lessons, and I will see you soon. Thanks.